This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Publics Meeting Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBN News on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2019, and thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk, pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on January 3rd, 2019. This notice is also posted on the Township webpage.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kubel. Councilwoman Maruka.
I just saw Councilwoman Maruka parking in the parking lot, so I believe she's on her way up right now.
Councilman Roderick.
Here.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Hill.
Here.
Council President Whitman.
Here.
First item, the minutes of August 23rd, 2019.
Move the minutes.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka. Not here yet. Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Next, for our honoring resolutions and presentations, tonight we have with us for the Pain Awareness Month of September, we have Liz Rios here. International Overdose Awareness Day, we have representatives from Hope Sheds Light.
Move the resolutions.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. Council members, would you join me in the well, and Councilman Hill, I'd ask you to present these.
Which one do you want to do first? Is this on? Okay. We're going to have the people from Hope Sheds Light come on up. Steve, Arvo, and Ron. We have a proclamation for Overdose Awareness Day, October 31st, in Toms River, New Jersey. As you know, Hope Sheds Light was an organization that was founded by these three gentlemen after they suffered a tragic loss of their children due to an overdose, and they've been spearheading the effort around town, and we want to recognize their service to the community and present them with this proclamation. So, and they have their walk coming up in another week, I believe, right? Next Saturday, the 7th?
September 7th?
September 7th. So,
Thank you very much. We appreciate
congratulations.
I'm allowed to talk about the walk real fast. That's good. Hope Sheds Light, guys, is about 6 years old now, so we have our 6th annual Celebration of Hope Walk. We call it a celebration because it is a celebration of recovery and love. It gets bigger and bigger. It's September 7th. It's on the north end of the Seaside Boardwalk. We want you there. Last year, I don't know if any of you were there last year. It was a monsoon, right? And we still had 1,200 people that came. It was unbelievable. So we're praying for sunshine, but we expect well over 2,000 people there. From what I hear, it is the biggest recovery walk in New Jersey, and we're proud of that. Because again, it's a celebration. I love it so much because people are getting brave to join us. We need to speak out loud about what's happening in our families. What Hope does is help individuals get into treatment, and we counsel and we coach families back to health. It's a joy to do it. Between our family support meetings that we have each week, we have a grief meeting, a grief group. It is our life's work. It is, isn't it? And it's really, It's a blessing to be able to serve. It keeps us healthy. It really elevates and celebrates the lives of our blessed boys. We couldn't save them, but it's so nice to be able to know what does work and what doesn't, and then share that. So, September 7th, Saturday, we want you there. Inspirational speakers, activities, entertainment. It'll be fun. I hope you join us. Thanks for letting us share.
Do you want to do this? Okay.
So it was kind of coincidental that Hope Sheds Light was getting a presentation the same night as we are naming September Pain Awareness Month. And that's as a result of the U.S. Pain Foundation making people aware of people that are in chronic pain. So I want to bring up Liz Rios, and you can bring your family too if you like. So she is the representative locally from U.S. Pain Foundation. And would you like to say a few words about what the organization does?
Sure, I would love to. I'll keep this brief. My first time in front of a microphone, so please excuse me. So the U.S. Pain Foundation is extremely important in bringing awareness to people with chronic pain. That it's a very, for me especially, a very deep and personal stories to share. And we don't often talk enough about it. For me, I suffer with chronic regional pain syndrome. I have degenerative cervical disc disease. And if that wasn't enough, in 2013, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So you'll probably see me back here at some point looking for awareness for multiple sclerosis as well, because all these things in a way go hand in hand, because now my pain is now basically amped up. And what the U.S. Pain Foundation does is they give you the resources that help you reach out to local support groups, because we're afraid to tell our story. September is something called Story-a-thon, and I am pretty new to telling my story, which is why I'm pretty nervous up here, because I don't normally share like this. It's so deeply personal, but I am also sharing my story with the U.S. Pain Foundation, and it will be featured in September across different social media platforms, where I literally woke up on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m., no makeup, and I decided to make this video and just explain why it's so important that we do talk about it, and that there's so many complementary therapies out there. It's not just taking pain medication. There are so many other things to look at, and it is my job and as an ambassador to put it out there for everybody that I'm going to do my best for this community to bring awareness. And I really want to thank this council for making September Pain Awareness Month. It is so important to me, and it's so important to the more than 50 million people out there who are suffering at this time, and how many people in our community are. So I want to thank you very, very much, and I really appreciate it. I'm new. You? Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No,
She could come up. Come on up.
that is my husband, Dave, and that is my daughter.
Give Stacy your phone. She'll take a picture with your phone.
Babe. Here, phone? Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. No. She'll get it. Thank you. Look at this one. Look at Mommy's one. Okay. Say cheeseburger. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a shake.
Okay, go ahead.
Continuing on with the agenda, item number 7 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, regulating discharges of fats, oils, and grease into the sanitary sewer system. This is a final reading.
This is a portion of the meeting open for public comment in this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Next, item 8 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Section 477-50, Schedule 12, stop intersections of Chapter 477, Vehicles and Traffic of the Township Code to establish a stop sign designation on Washington Avenue, stop intersection Washington Avenue and Trenton Avenue, with the stop sign to be installed on Washington Avenue. First reading.
Move the ordinance on first.
Second?
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 9 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 473, vacant and foreclosed properties of the Township Code to comply with the revised notices requirements of out-of-state creditors imposed by Public Law 2019, Chapter 66, first reading.
Move the ordinance on first?
Second?
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 10 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, authorizing the public sale of tax lot 35, block 190 on Fillmore Street in the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, to a contiguous property owner pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13B5, first reading.
Move the ordinance on first.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 11 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing various sections of Chapter 348, Land Use and Development Regulations of the Township Code, first reading.
Move the ordinance on first?
Second?
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 12 is a resolution of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending the redevelopment plan for the downtown core rehabilitation area pursuant to NJSA 48:12A-7 to add Robbins Parkway redevelopment area and an arts and culture district. First reading.
Move the ordinance on first.
Second?
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes, and I'd like to thank our planner, Dave Roberts, for getting this prepared quickly and furthering the arts in the township.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 13 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, urging Governor Murphy to restore $4 million in school funding taken from the Toms River School District.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Council Vice President Hill, seconded by Councilman Kubel. Council Vice President Hill.
Yes, I'd like to make a statement. When I first read the Asbury Park Press edition on the 20th of August, Governor Murphy had given $3.8 million in financial aid to undocumented students. I was appalled. I ask that this resolution be put on so that we can get our emergency aid restored to our own district. The governor and the Trenton Democrats cut over almost $3 million in state aid from Toms River Regional School District, resulting in a loss of 77 teaching and staff positions. Once again, Governor Murphy's put benefits for undocumented residents over the needs of Toms River school children and the legal residents of this state. Whether it's $3.8 million in scholarships, $1.8 million for legal defense fund, or proposed driver's licenses for undocumented residents, he and the liberal Democrats place them above our own citizens. I'm deeply invested in this community and our outstanding school system. I had 3 daughters who went through the Toms River schools. 2 of my daughters and their families live here in Toms River. 4 of my grandchildren are in or will soon be in the Toms River Regional School District. I attended both rallies in Trenton along with several of the members of the council in support of our students and teachers calling for the restoration of state aid. I've been a vocal critic of the New Jersey school funding program. I've attended 2 presentations on the referendum to repair our schools' aging infrastructure and fully supported that referendum. I've also attended a couple of Board of Education meetings, including the budget presentation, and I've made several calls to Trenton to request emergency state aid. Without a strong, vibrant school system, our community is going to suffer. Meanwhile, my opponent's been silent. Where has he been? His only connection to the Toms River Regional School is as managing partner of a law firm that has a lucrative contract with the school system to provide legal services at the cost of several $100,000 a year. And one of his running mates on the Board of Education voted for substantial pay increases for several administrators, while 77 teachers and staff were laid off. This hurts our children and our grandchildren, who next week will have larger class sizes and less staff at their extracurricular activity programs. Our children are our future. We need to preserve that future. And with that, I vote yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 14 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, authorizing the governing body certification of the annual audit.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Before I vote, I would like to thank Sharon Smith and her staff. I could tell you that the audit has no deficiencies in it, and please extend our congratulations to your staff. And with that, I'll vote yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes, and I'd like to echo the comments of Brian. I think Sharon Smith has done a great job, along with her team, in making sure that we have the right policies and procedures in place to have a clean audit like this. So I vote yes.
Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately.
A is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing refund of overpayment of taxes to various properties. B is a resolution of the Township Council certifying entitlement of a 100% disabled veteran status and providing that property taxes be canceled and/or refunded. C is a resolution of the Township Council canceling the outstanding balance for tax year 2019 on Block 169, Lot 2 at 1270 Cox Grove Road. D is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the purchase of equipment for police vehicles from a vendor with state contract, Motorola Solutions Incorporated, co-owned by Wireless C&E, state contract number T0109, vendor number 83909, in the amount not to exceed $82,467.15, and from Wireless C&E, state contract number M0483, vendor number 89980, in the amount not to exceed $59,643.72, for a total combined maximum amount not to exceed $142,120.87. E is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Purchasing and Engineering Division to advertise for and receive bids for the 2019 Township-wide paving program. F is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the purchasing and engineering divisions to advertise for and receive bids for the installation of mid-block crosswalk and pedestrian warning beacon on Hospital Drive at the Community Medical Center. G is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing a professional service contract to Alamo Group to assist the Township Engineering Division in the design of site improvements for the Police Department, including but not limited to parking, radio tower additions, and CAFRA permitting, for a total maximum contract amount not to exceed $71,000. H is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the mayor to execute and the Township Clerk to attest to a mobile intensive care unit interface agreement by and between Toms River Township and Monmouth Ocean Hospital Service Corporation. I is a resolution of the Township Council amending budget revenues and appropriations for New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2019 municipal aid project elevation of Harbor Court, Canal Lane, and Harbor Drive grant. J is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the mayor to execute and the Township Clerk to attest to a shared service agreement between the Township of Toms River and the Eastover Fire Company to procure as necessary the services of Witt O'Brien LLC pursuant to the Township's open-ended contract with Witt O'Brien LLC as technical assistant contractor for public assistance with FEMA program services associated with the reconstruction of its firehouse located at 629 Fisher Boulevard, Toms River, New Jersey, commencing September 1st, 2019. K is a resolution of the Township Council imposing charges incurred under Section 3 of the 2006 International Property Maintenance Code as a lien on real property and directing the tax collector to collect these costs and impose interest on unpaid costs in the same manner as provided for in the collection of real estate taxes in the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey. L is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing acceptance of a $3,000 bid submitted by a contiguous property owner for the sale of a portion of Lot 21, Block 724 at 610 Garfield Avenue. M is a resolution of the Township Council amending resolution dated June 25, 2019, which amended a resolution of the Township Council dated April 23, 2019, by awarding a professional service contract to VCA Animal Hospital Incorporated, doing business as Toms River Veterinary Hospital for the remainder of the 2019 calendar year as an additional non-emergency pool vet. The purpose of this amendment is to change the account number from the allocation of funds for Vet Corps of Toms River LLC, doing business as Calling All Creatures, from account number 9-13-911-012 to account number 9-13-911-002 for $8,000. No additional monies are required for this amendment. And is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major site plan known as 1650 Massachusetts Avenue LLC, Block 137, Lot 13.02 at 1650 Massachusetts Avenue. O is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor subdivision known as Block 646, Lot 21 at 99 Cedar Grove Road. P is a resolution of the Township Council releasing performance guarantees and accepting maintenance guarantees for a major site plan known as Adelaide Associates LLC, Block 659, Lots 1 and 3 at 36 Higher Street. Q is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor site plan known as Block 443.25, Lot 48, and Block 434, Lot 19 at 1208 Fisher Boulevard. R is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major site plan known as 1815 Lakewood Road LLC, Block 172, Lot 21.07 at 1815 Lakewood Road. S is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor site plan known as BRK LLC at Lester Glen Mazda, Block 644.01, Lot 1 at 111 Route 37 East. T is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor site plan known as Anchorage Harbor Incorporated, Block 232, Lot 1 at 50 Clipper Court. U is a resolution of the Township Council releasing maintenance guarantees for a minor site plan known as Block 1103, Lot 16 at Ocean Beach Surf Club. E is a resolution of the Township Council releasing performance guarantees for a minor subdivision known as Robert and Roberta Tracy, Block 260-23, lots 39 through 44 at 246 Alabama Avenue. W is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor site plan / conditional use known as Cellco Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless, Block 647, Lot 28.01 at 229 Route 37 East. X is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor site plan known as Ocean Beach Shore Club, Block 950.10, Lot 6 at Ocean Road. Y is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing massage businesses under the provisions of Township Ordinance Numbers 1606 and 1682. Z is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing submission of a $5,000 Ocean County Historical and Cultural Commission 2020 County History Partnership Program grant with township match not to exceed $5,000, and authorizing the mayor to execute and township clerk to attest to any and all grant documents. AA is a resolution of the Township Council designating the boundaries of the Downtown Arts and Culture District.
Okay, I need to have a roll call on item V. I have a conflict with that.
Roll call on F.
Okay,
Council President, I need roll call on J and M.
okay. Anyone else? On the council? Any of the council members like an item to be discussed separately? No? Okay. Any of the public would like to discuss an item separately from this list? P? Okay. Okay, anyone else? Okay, let's, can we vote on everything except F, V, J, M, and P?
Move the
Move the
balance.
consent agenda.
Council President, just
Oh, sure.
motion to reconsider on one of the items.
A1?
A-
President?
A1?
A,
AA, you mean?
let me go back.
Yeah, there's AA.
Just want to, there may be a reference to area properties on that that I wanted to bring your attention.
Oh, yeah, okay, which
So
one?
it looks like it's on the first
A.
A. It's
A, okay,
labeled
so,
as A1 on our.
so we want A as well, thank you.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call on that one as well. Great.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Move the consent, remaining items on the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka, to move the balance of the consent agenda with the exception of F, V, J, M, P, and A.
Right.
Councilman Kubel,
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Roderick,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. We have a roll call on A now, item A.
Or can we do item A and V?
Sure, A and,
Roll call on item A and V. Just need a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick, to move item A and V. Councilwoman Maruka,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Kubel,
Yes.
Councilman Roderick,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
I have to abstain, I have a conflict with both of those items.
Okay, motion to move item F.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Maruka,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Kubel,
Yes.
Councilman Roderick,
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill,
Abstain, I'm on the Board of Directors at, Board of Trustees at Community Medical Center.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Motion to move item J and M.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach, to move item J and M. Councilwoman Maruka,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Kubel,
I abstain, have a conflict.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. Last item is P. Can someone make a motion on that?
Move item P.
Item P.
Someone from the public wanted to make
Oh,
comment.
that was a
Oh,
comment.
you want to make a comment on it, okay.
Alazar Zoraju, Toms River Business Improvement District. 36 Higher Street, that's the recently paved parking lot, I believe, across from the tennis courts. I'm just curious about that. Is that for a new building project?
Item P, let me read it.
That's Buccaloo. P, so Buccaloo, isn't it?
We just have to pull it up.
Okay, we can have Wendy come up. Do you remember 36 hires? Can you please come up and explain that to this gentleman?
Wendy Burkett, Assistant Township Engineer. The new parking lot that was installed there is actually for the law firm. That's directly next door. So it's private parking for that business owner.
So is the site revision to rebuild something there, or is it
No, it's just a parking lot,
just for the parking?
just a parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Move item P.
Second.
Item P was moved by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Maruka,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Next are the bills.
Move the bill list.
Second?
Bills were moved by Councilman Turnbuck, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes, with the following abstentions. PO 19-4630, payable to the magistrates. PO 19-455, payable to Law Office of City Holzapfel. PO 19-4289, 19-994, and 19-4198, payable to Law Office of Dasty McGuckin. I am a local attorney in town. I have conflict with those three. Again, yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Abstain to PO 19-00456, payable to Terry Brady Esquire. 19-04198, payable to Dasty McGuckin, attorneys at law. PO 19-04289 and 19-00994, payable to Gregory McGuckin. And 19-03081, payable to NJMVC. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Abstain from PO 19-04108 and 19-04625, payable to Remington and Vernick, and PO 19-04630, line 19, only as it pertains to recreation salaries. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kubel.
Abstain to PO 19-00967 and 19-02224, payable to VetCor. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes with the following abstentions. 19-03422, payable to the Board of Education, Toms River Schools. 19-00456, payable to Terry Brady Esquire. 19-02203, payable to the Ocean County Board of Health. And 19-04199, yes to the balance.
Council President Whitman.
I think you missed Councilman Roderick.
Yeah. I vote yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No
That's
conflicts.
okay.
Council President Whitman.
Yes, with the following exceptions. I have to abstain from, they're all related to Remington and Vernick. The first one is page 9, purchase order number 19-04277 for area properties at Clinton LLC. Then another one on page 8 for area properties GW Development on purchase order number 19-04684. That's on page 8. And then one for GW Development on page 30, PO 19-4298. And then one for Toms River Yacht Club on page 55 for 19-0418. That's also Remington verdict. Yes to the balance.
Next, we have elected officials' comments.
Okay, Council Vice President Hill.
Thank you, Council President. This Monday, September 2nd, the Toms River United is having a festival at Huddy Park featuring foods from around the world and ethnic foods. Festival starts at noon and will go through till 4 p.m. And I know Lori has more information on that. She's on the committee. I just want to speak about an item that was in the paper, the Fleischer property. Approximately 2 years ago, Kim Fleischer approached me about the township purchasing her 10-acre farm on New Hampshire Avenue. The property was Q-rated farm on the tax rolls. The township had committed to purchase a property on Boynton, on Route 9, the Boynton property that the county originally wanted to purchase, but backed out at the last minute. And this Boynton property backed up to the Gutman Farm property, which you already purchased. I asked the county if they would consider purchasing the Fleischer Farm with farmland preservation money. After months of indecision, Kim agreed to sell the property to the county, and last Wednesday, the Board of Freeholders approved that purchase. This is a win-win-win for Toms River. 1, the land is preserved using county money. 2, the farmland preservation prevents any development of the property and will have to remain as farmland. And 3, there are discussions with the county about the possibility of farming the back portion of that property, and some of that produce raised there will go to Fulfill. So it's a win-win-win for the town. And I want to congratulate the freeholders on granting that farmland preservation for that piece of property. It's a pristine piece of property, and I'm glad we were able to preserve it. That's all I have.
Councilman Roderick.
I just wanted to say, it doesn't seem like this governor cares about Toms River or a number of other South Jersey towns for that matter. His reckless policies are not only damaging to our schools, but they put the safety of our residents at risk as well, which is why I'm calling on this council, both Republican and Democrat, to pass a resolution rejecting Governor Murphy's sanctuary city status. Our police must have the ability to cooperate with federal authorities for the safety of our residents. And I'd like us to do something like that next time around.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Cabell.
No further comments, sir.
Councilman Turnback.
Thank you, Council President. It was very nice to see Steve Willis and Hope Sheds Light here tonight. They really have done an excellent job for our county in the fight against opiates. I see Steve Willis basically on a day-to-day basis. He's a criminal defense attorney, and he puts his heart and soul into helping people with problems. He has a very personal story with that, along with Ron Rosetto and Arvo Primo, and they're really very strong individuals and honorable people. So it was nice to see them tonight, and I'm glad they're honored. As a criminal defense attorney here for 16 years, I've seen firsthand really the effects of the opiate crisis here in Toms River and Ocean County. And I would say to you, in about 2005 or 2006, you started to see people getting charged with Percocets or some oxycodone, possession charges. And you could see the problem coming. When I first started as a lawyer in 2003, all of your criminal arrests with regard to possession cases were cocaine cases. All of your raids by the police were cocaine. Crack cocaine was the problem. 2005 comes and you have these Percocets, and these young men and women are coming in with this problem, and you just saw it continue to develop and continue to develop. Percocet, oxycodone, to heroin, to fentanyl. And I can tell you, I'm not proud to say this, but I'm sure Steve Willis would agree with this, we've lost dozens of clients to overdose. In one of my hardest days as an attorney down here, I had to call the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office to say that there was the body of a young woman in the Red Carpet Inn, and she was deceased from a heroin overdose. So we see this on the day-to-day, we live it. Our criminal justice system is filled with people that are suffering from addiction. And the one thing we get to see firsthand that others may not is that Percocets, heroin, oxycodone, opiates, it's not like any other addiction. A lot of people are coming in to see me that maybe had a sports injury. They got hurt and then had a doctor start to prescribe them something that they couldn't get off of. Some people have had dental work, and then they have a problem that they can't get off of. So, the public has this thought process of, we're raised with, there's drug dealers on the street corners, and that's where people find drugs, and they're pushed onto them, and that's not always the case. And, I would say a large percentage of the people that are unfortunately now in the criminal justice system are in that system because of accidents, injury, nothing that they ever saw coming or wanted. Yesterday, in our nation, it was a big day. It was a big day for Toms River. Maybe we don't see it yet. But in Oklahoma, there was a $572 million settlement against Johnson & Johnson relative to this crisis. And this council in 2017 took action on this. And they went out and hired a law firm, national law firm, Motley Rice. And it's really being orchestrated here, I believe, by Andy Darcy. And I want to commend the council. I wasn't on the council at that point in time. But the council has positioned us now to move forward. We've reached out to Andy Darcy today. Toms River is very much in the pipeline. There are over 2,000 lawsuits that are outstanding against firms like Johnson & Johnson and Big Pharma, places that unfortunately saw money over people and real problems. And when you do the research on what was going on, these companies were making over $1 billion a year, continuing to put out opiates, fentanyl patches, with full knowledge that they were addictive and that many people were taking this innocently. We go to a doctor, we're going to listen to our doctor, right? And then we've got a problem. And when we can't afford, when our prescription stops, or we can't afford that, it's the natural progression is to street drugs and then heroin. So I'm very proud of the actions of our Oklahoma Attorney General. His name is Michael Hunter, in succeeding in getting that $572 million. But I want the residents of Toms River to know that this entire council is on top of this, and we're going to see this through, so that Toms River and Ocean County, who have suffered great losses as a result of heroin and fentanyl, gets their day in court as well, and that hopefully we can get a recovery that works on prevention and saving lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to talk a little bit about our beach replenishment project and the value that we have in that. I mean, this is our 7th summer since Superstorm Sandy. And this was the first summer that I finally feel I can honestly say that Ortley Beach and the North Beaches are back, because we finally had a beach in place. And there was a lot of celebration, specifically over in Ortley Beach. They had many events planned this year, from their Beach Jam, which is an annual event, which this year was, I have to say, sold out, and the people that attended were just unbelievable. It was just so well received, and it was the first year they put a firework display in, and it was just so well received by everyone, even in the neighboring communities. And then also the Friends of Ortley Beach put on a few events, and the last one was this past Saturday night, which was their doggy days at the beach. They had kites and cones, they had craft festivals, but it really, really, truly felt like the community was back together. You know, when we start looking for trash cans, one of the issues is trash cans for an event. It's like, wow, that's great. You know, it's a trivial stuff now, but you can see, you know, it's not, mostly everybody is back in their homes. There are a few people, and I don't want to trivialize that at all. There are people that still are not back in their home, or might not be able to afford to rebuild their home. But for the most part, it really felt like summertime had come back to our beach area for the first time in 7 years. And it was great to see all the people over there and to see all the events that took place. As we enter Labor Day weekend, we have school starting next week. And that means children at street corners, again, at the bus stop. There'll be school buses, and everybody's in a hurry. I talked about this a few weeks ago about all the issues and accidents we've had on Route 37. So if everybody can please slow down, take a deep breath, watch out for that child walking to the corner to their bus stop. Be courteous to that bus driver that might be getting behind the wheel for the first time in a little bit. And let's ease into our school season. And as Councilor Hill alluded to, it's going to be a tough school season for our Toms River schools, because he said class sizes are larger, they're doing with less staff, and there's less monies for supplies and things of that nature. I know there's a lot of organizations in our community that are supporting backpacks for children, school supplies. I know WOBM had something like that, a couple of the other radio stations in Staples the other day, and you could donate for a $10 donation. There was a gift box that you could give to a child that had in the notebooks and, you know, maybe crayons or things that they need, school supplies to get them through the year. So if we can take anything away from this season, we had a good season over at the beach, but also we have a school season starting, and I think everybody needs to just relish our school year, relish our children, and just slow down a little bit and be careful. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Yurek.
Just a couple things. I think it was really fortuitous that tonight was not only a night to honor Hope Sheds Light, but also the U.S. Pain Foundation and naming September Pain Awareness Month. What the U.S. Pain Foundation does is it offers resources to people, education, to empower them so that when their physicians suggest a medication for an injury, they might be able to request not to have as strong a medication or not to have any medication at all, but to go for physical therapy or to learn positioning or relaxation techniques and many, many other pain countermeasures that don't involve medication. And if it does involve medication, it can also empower them to make sure that that medication is prescribed properly so that they're much less likely to become addicted. There are many ways to be able to prescribe medications that are much less likely to lead to addiction. So it was really great that both of those issues were brought to light tonight. And then as Councilman Hill alluded to, we are having a TR United Festival on Labor Day, September 2nd from 12 to 4 in Huddy Park. And that is a multicultural festival that is being sponsored by the Toms River Police Department. The theme is community and family, food, friends, and fun, and I probably said that in the wrong order. But this is an event to put division aside, to celebrate our similarities and our diversity. So that's why it's no Republican or Democrat issues there. We're all just a community. And just to remind everyone, the Hope Sheds Light Walk is September 7th, and it starts at 8:30 a.m., nice and early, at the north end of the Seaside Boardwalk. That's it.
Thank you. I have no further comments. At this point in the meeting, it's open we have open for public comments. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand, identify yourself, and come to the microphone. Yes, sir.
I'm going to surprise, my name is Tom Fody. I live at 22 Cruiser Court in Toms River. I'm going to surprise Marie tonight because I don't have any fish on. I usually handle all the fish issues and the environmental issues, as Councilman Hill knows and Marie knows. I'm usually here and talking about fish, but I was here for the recycling hearing that was on here 2 weeks ago, when they had the joint hearing of the Assembly and the Senate in this room. I got here a little late, so I parked in the municipal parking lot, which I usually don't do, but I did it this time. And there was no spaces there. Everybody had been here. So I rode down. I says, well, I rode into the second parking lot. Saw the sign as I came through, said employees only. I said, okay, I need to drive through. Saw a handicap space. I'm a disabled vet, 100% disabled. I'm also a retired Army captain, as the general is, and the colonel's not here tonight. And basically says, well, I hung my handicap sticker because, as you know, the DVA sticker cannot park in a handicap space, doesn't give you permission, but the handicap does, but at least you don't pay for your parking. And that was a nice thing that was passed by the legislature about a year and a half ago. Leads to my surprise when I walked out after the hearing doing my volunteer work as I usually do, there was a $20 ticket on. So I figured maybe they missed the two placards hanging from my mirror. So I went over to tell them, says, no, you're parked in a handicap space, but it's in the employee's parking lot. I says, what difference does that have to do with it? I mean, I was really surprised that and woman says, well, I can't help you. That's the way it is. I said, I've never heard of that before. I looked on the web page to find out where the regulation came. I couldn't find it. I found the fines for if you park in a handicap space, but I didn't find it. What I also found unusual in Toms River, there used to be handicap spaces. One was out here by the library. One was across the street from the library that didn't have a meter on it. Now you're supposed to pay. Now I don't have to pay because I have the DVA sticker that I hang on there. But I was also surprised when I rode through the parking lot that is not a DVA parking space in there, or a Purple Heart parking space, which is basically a lot of townships do. And also that you have to pay. I mean, I go to Seaside Park. I'm walking there every morning, trying to keep my body in shape. And Seaside Park, May and I talked about it. He says, if you can't find a handicap space, you can park in any space, and we don't charge you. Now, in Seaside Heights, you got to pay. Also in Seaside Heights, there is handicap spaces that have license plate numbers on it. I understand. I never would park in one of those spaces because that's for somebody that lives in the house that is handicapped. Or I have seen employee parking spaces in certain areas, employee parking handicap, wouldn't park in that space. That's not mine. But at 10 o'clock in the morning, anybody that's handicapped that works here is already in there. And I just, so I'm pleading innocent to the ticket now, fighting in court, municipal court. And because it's not, I think it's a slap across the face. It was like more, when I saw that, I said, well, thank me for my service again.
No.
I mean, as a Vietnam vet, I find that very difficult. So I wish you would think about how you would handle that, maybe a parking space or a DVA in the municipal parking lot. I don't understand why, if you're handicapped, you're supposed to be able to park in a handicap spot that's available.
Could be a training issue.
Mr. Guardian, could you get his contact information and talk to Pam Piner and get that straightened out, please?
I got a ticket, I can give you my card. And thank you for all the hard work we do in Toms River. I've been living here since 1979, since my wife took me when we met in the hospital at Fort Dix when I came back from Vietnam. Because Mo had to work a little harder to get retired. I retired at the age of 23 as a captain from the Army, and basically have been doing volunteer service. So luckily this month I will not be doing any hearings. Next month we'll not be doing any hearings in Toms River because they now got me going to Roosevelt Park, Ocean City, and Atlantic City about striped bass. Again, that's a tough issue. As some of you know, I wear the commissioner's hat to the Atlantic States representing the governor, and I represent all 8 years of Christie, McGreevy, Corzine, Whitman. So I've gone through both Democrats and Republicans. I've been doing it now for 29 years as a volunteer again. So thank you for your patience for listening to me tonight, but I just felt I had to come and say something about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Anthony?
Anthony Colucci from Ortley Beach, 249 Coolidge Avenue. First, I want to say Maria Maruca is correct. We had a very good beach summer this year. It's not over yet, obviously.
No, it's not.
But I also want to point out it's not just Ortley Beach that enjoyed it. It was Toms River's people that came across the bridge every day as traffic was crazy. And anytime the bridge was up, we backed up 37, as everybody knows. So it was a wonderful beach season for everybody in Toms River. And I'm here as a resident of Toms River and also the president of the Ortley Beach Voters and Taxpayers Association. The purchase of the Surf Club property must remain a top priority for the town of Toms River. The residents of Toms River will greatly benefit from this everlasting purchase. Toms River has purchased open space on the mainland for many millions of dollars. Many of these lands are not used for recreation purposes and have limited benefit to most of the residents of Toms River. Using open space and other funding mechanisms available to purchase this Surf Club property will provide open space which will be used and enjoyed by the Toms River taxpayers and their families. One of the permitted uses of open space is for the acquisition of lands for recreation purposes. Any proposed improvements to this purchased property can be postponed until a future date. I need not list the many benefits to the town this purchase would afford, since we've previously outlined them in numerous letters to the mayor and council. The most important thing here is to secure the rights to the Surf Club property. Toms River must make this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity happen. The cost is minimal compared to the amounts spent on other open space purchases. The cost of doing nothing is insurmountable. Thank you for listening. Please act for the benefit of all Toms River and purchase this beach.
Thank you. Tony?
Good evening, Tony Tamarazzo, 265 Coolidge Avenue, Ortley Beach, Toms River, New Jersey. Good evening. Thank you for your time, Council President. As you know, I'm a resident of Ortley. I'm also a board member of the OBVTA. And I rise to add some facts to Anthony's presentation tonight. You know, the Surf Club purchase is imperative because it's a limited one-time opportunity. We won't see this in my lifetime again, and you're not going to see it in our children's lifetime either. This must happen. It must happen for all of Toms River, and let me explain from a fiscal perspective. Now, you heard the public policy arguments ad nauseum. Let me talk about a fiscal perspective. If that property is allowed to be developed, and I think we can all agree on one thing, which is that's a timely proposition. You know, we're entering a period of economic uncertainty right now. This is the opportune time to buy this property. It will never be cheaper than now to do it. The cost incurred both on a capital basis and the funds needed from an improvement perspective will never be cheaper now. It's my understanding that with Toms River's credit rating, we can borrow at a rate of about 1.8%. I've got a mortgage in Ortley I'd like to refinance at that rate. This is the time to do it. But more importantly, if that property is allowed to be redeveloped, those ratables, as everyone knows, and every administrator in the state knows, will never have the value add that securing open public space will. And here's why. As soon as that property is dedicated to open public space, the property values in and around that area will skyrocket. It happened in Charleston, it happened in Savannah. You will see it happen here. The ratables will exceed any type of income you could get from a new property. And by the way, that new property will bring more people to Toms River, and while we could argue that not all of them will go to our excellent Toms River school system, and I'm a product of public education, they still will need public safety, they will still need fire, they will still need services that will exceed it. Personally, I was down there today and I thought, how could we not have a special DPW pickup right in the middle of our wonderful, Ortley Beach area? You'd have to install all of these services that would run up into the tens of thousands of dollars annually. Now is the time, from a fiscal perspective, to take action. Not only that, but I don't know, and Councilwoman Maruka is absolutely correct. There's been a revitalization in Ortley Beach. You know, in November of 2012, the New York Times called Ortley Beach, Toms River, the zero center of Sandy. The zero center of Sandy. Now what we have is a rising, sort of like the real governor of New Jersey, Bruce Springsteen, said, come on up to the rising. But what we really, really need to do is to recognize, right, that we've put in these bike racks. Have you seen the bike racks? That they're flooded? We need more. And you know what happens? When you bike to the beach, you don't drive. So if we have 100 spots at that surf club, that's 100 people from my fellow residents of Tom River, the mainland Tom River people who will have a place to park, right? Does that not bring a value add to this town? Now look, I'm the last person that's going to tell the town how to negotiate. Negotiations are a unique and difficult facility, and every lawyer that goes to law school reads Getting to Yes. That's the seminal book. Let's get to yes. There has to be good faith negotiations on both sides. What I would say is this: push, call, take an action immediately. Let's get the other side engaged. We have to deal in good faith. But sitting back and letting it play out, this is not that kind of negotiation. This council has been supportive of this process. I ask you for your continued support, but I also ask you for action. Anthony's laid out the public policy argument. I've laid out the fiscal argument. This is the time for action. Please, over the winter, let's celebrate the acquisition of that property in Ortley Beach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to talk about that, okay?
You identify yourself for the record, please. Name and
I'm sorry?
Can you tell us your name and address?
My name is Sharon Colucci. I live at 249 Coolidge Avenue in Ortley Beach, but I'm also a member of the Green Team. So just a point of observation, the bill list is not double-sided. You could save a lot of paper that way.
Duly noted.
The other thing is it's online, right?
Yes.
So maybe we just need this pasted here so we can just refer to it rather than hand it out to people?
I guess that's a legal question, so.
No, it has to be available for people who don't have web access.
Unfortunately, we have to do that.
Okay, so you could keep a couple here. I'll bet that you're probably pitching a lot at the end of the meeting. That's all.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. But the staples can be a problem.
Yeah, we take care of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, Pat?
Pat Plaslow, Ortley Beach. I just feel like everybody's from Ortley's coming up tonight. But one of the things I have a question on, I just saw something in the paper the other day, I didn't really read it, something about the reevaluations coming up. Do we know when next year that's going to happen?
I'll ask our administrator to explain the process.
Because we don't have a tax assessor to date, we've asked the county to give us a one-year extension. So it will not be next year in 2020, it'll be in 2021.
Okay, one of the reasons why I'm asking is I know at one point in time we were talking about open permits. Did we set a deadline for when permits are taken out, how long before they have to be closed out?
I don't know that we ever discussed, how long an open permit has to be, but I believe there's a statute in terms of, when a project's abandoned. I think it's 6 months. 1 year? 1 year.
1 year.
Because I have a neighbor with 1 year, and my concern is if the evaluations, a lot of people, because there's a lot of illegal stuff going on in Ortley Beach, and I don't know about the mainland, but in Ortley, people are building whatever they want, and they're not, getting permits and things like that. My concern is a lot of people, if they know there's an evaluation coming, they're going to hold off on finishing out their projects because they're going to start putting the illegal stuff. I happened to overhear one of my neighbors the other day. First of all, a question. Do the outdoor showers have to be above base flood and hooked into the sewer line?
We'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure.
Because if that's the case, there's so many of those illegal. And I happened to hear one of my neighbors the other day, because his wife, they were talking, he's like, well, where do you want the shower? And I know for a fact it's not on his plot plans. He has permits for certain things, not for a shower.
I would think that that's the case, though, because I would think it's the case because the drain would be below base flood, and if you have a flood, and the water would basically go right into the drain and into the sewer system. So I believe that's the case, that it has to be above base flood.
Okay, because I believe Lavalette did away with that.
Lori, Wendy, excuse me. Can you, yeah.
Wendy Burkhead, Assistant Township Engineer. Any shower that is enclosed, whether it's lattice, whether it's actual fencing, anything like that, must be at base flood elevation plus 1. If it's only a shower head and no enclosure, it can be at ground level. There cannot be a drain, and if it's below base flood elevation plus 1, the drain cannot connect into the sanitary system due to what Councilman Whitman said, that it would flood out the sanitary system. So they're not making everybody who's at base flood elevation plus 1 connect to the sanitary, but they recommend it. But if they aren't, it must be a base flood elevation plus 1.
Okay. Because what a lot of people are doing is they're putting the shower heads out, and once the inspections come and the tax assessor, they're all enclosing it. And as I've mentioned to you before, because I come here, I can't do anything illegal, so it's not fair to the people that are following the rules that all these other people are doing this extra stuff, and there's a lot of it going on in town. So I'm hoping that when they do the evaluation, they check to see what's there and compare it against what's supposed to be on their land, because they should be taxed at full value just like everybody else is that's paying their fair share. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Alizar Zorju, Toms River Business Improvement District. I know there was a few mentions this evening about Toms River United's efforts this past year to put together a festival to try to celebrate our diversity and cultural variety that we have in Toms River. The Business Improvement District was asked by the chief to participate in that process and help put the event together. So we look forward to the first ever Around the World in Toms River event in Huddy Park this coming Monday. Before then, the bid will be in Huddy Park for Huddy Park Game Night, a new event we started this year as well. It'll be the last one of the season, and we look forward to having a nice event for families and locals to come out after 5 p.m. and do something downtown. So that Huddy Park Game Night will be tomorrow night in Huddy from 5 to 8 p.m. We have live music. Toms River Fire Company, Volunteer Company number 1, serving burgers and dogs, and some of our local businesses out there with some of their amenities as well. So I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Seeing none,
Oh, one more in the back. You almost got cut off.
Tom Sergio, I live at 601 Main Street, Toms River. We lived here about 27 years, and every year we enjoy the Halloween parade. We have about 1,000 people on our front lawn alone. It's a great parade. Everybody comes. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, the Veterans Day parade is on a Monday morning. Nobody shows up. Is there any way we can switch this to a Saturday so people could actually come to this thing for these poor vets that come out? Thank you for your service, sir.
Well, we looked at that, and I'll ask Mo Hill to explain
It's held in connection with the holiday, unfortunately, on the 11th.
Right.
So, it flows with that holiday, just like the Memorial Day parade. The Memorial Day parade happens to
Right.
be on a Monday, but the Veterans Day parade, it fluctuates with the date.
Right, but everyone's working and no one's
know.
attending, and Halloween, they don't have it on Halloween necessarily. I just think it's something that should be considered, because
it's a
we
good-
look
it-
down the street every year for 27 years, you could count on one hand how many people.
It's a good idea, and, we looked at that, and I think the Veterans Commission itself wants to have it on Veterans Day. So that's really the issue, and the Veterans Commission kind of runs the parade
Right.
and dictates, when they want to have it, and as a result, they have it on Veterans Day, even though it might not be the most optimal day to have it. I agree, if you had it on a Saturday, you might get more attendance, but.
So this is the wrong forum, I should go to the.
No, we'll talk to the Veterans Commission, and we'll ask them if they would consider that, and if that would be a better solution.
Also, you used to have a lot of times the schools had off on Veterans Day, so you'd have better participation.
Right.
But that's, that fluctuates between school district and school district. When I was growing up, it was a day off school, so you did have that holiday recognized. But now it's not treated as a national holiday by the school district. So a lot of them have classes, and that cuts down on the participation.
All right, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
seeing none, move to executive session.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public
What?
from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel, attorney-client privilege, land acquisitions, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows. The executive session minutes of August 13, 2019. Personnel issues of both the Township Clerk's Office and Administration. The review of status of all real property acquisitions. The review of possible appointment of a tax assessor. And the review of downtown redevelopment projects with Township Development Council. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka, with all in favor to go into executive session at 7:08 p.m.
School district.
Do I have a motion to go back?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? 8:25 PM.